What's going on, everybody? I'm Wicked Wookie, and today we're looking at one of the free fly ships, the Drake Cutlass Red. This ship is currently available to free fly from July 2nd until July 14th. It is $135 on the pledge store, and it is important to note that this ship is only available to pledge during certain sales and events during the year. It can be purchased in-game anytime for a little over 1.8 million credits. If you're new to the game, you could earn that pretty easily within a week or two with a moderate amount of time spent playing. And the Cutlass Red, in my opinion, is one of the best multi-purpose ships in the verse because you can respawn from it and rehydrate and fill up your nutrition and do pretty decent combat all from one ship. It comes with 4 size 3 weapons. Keep in mind though, it does not have any missiles or a gunner's turret like the Cutlass Black does. It does, however, come with a spotlight for those nighttime medical emergency calls, and that light is controlled by the co-pilot. Now, getting in the ship, you have the main rear ramp, and on the left and right side, you have 2 airlocks that you can easily exit from. Getting in is going to be a little bit more difficult if you're on a moon or planet. This is going to be mostly used during space EVA or to exit. For cargo, you can snap up to 12 SU on the grid, but if you don't mind squeezing by boxes, you can fit a little bit more than that. At first glance, you may assume that you cannot put a vehicle back here, but the Cutlass Red does hold stuff like a Pulse, a PTV, an STV, and Atlas, and you can even squeeze in a Fury back there, believe it or not. Inside the Cutlass, you have 2 Tier 3 med beds, so that will only heal the most minor of flesh wounds, but you can set your imprint here to respawn. The ship does have 4 bunks that currently at the time of riding does not seem to be able to bedlock from. This is going to be ship and patch dependent on whether bedlogging works or not. Currently, at least for me, I am unable to bedlock from the ship in this patch. There is onboard storage as well, and some weapon racks, and even a toilet. The pilot and co-pilot sit in tandem with each other, with the pilot have control over the ship's flight mechanics and the guns of the ship. The co-pilot only seems to have control over the spotlight, but they could also redistribute power on the MFDs. The ship has a great field of view and is very easy to fly and very easy to land. The only real downside with the Cutlass Red, in my opinion, is the same downside with all the Cutlasses, is if you lose an engine, it gets very hard to control. Not impossible, but it is very difficult. If you lose an engine while you're in a battle, you may want to try to jump away. Now, at some point, this ship will need to be updated because currently, none of the components like the shields, power plant, and things like that are not physicalized on the ship, so they're not there for you to physically interact with. You have to go to your hangar in order to swap those things out. Okay, so now for the charts. I chose ships I felt were comparable, and I left the loadouts and components stock because that just makes the charts more interesting. The ships we're comparing the Cutlass Red to is the Cutlass Black, the Freelancer, the C1 Spirit, and the Zeus ES. For total DPS, the Cutty Red is at the bottom end, but this is a rescue ship not intended to slug it out, but rather to get in and out. For shields, the Cutlass Red comes with 1 size 2, the same as the Cutlass Black and the C1 Spirit, but you'll see there is a significant jump in the Freelancer and the Zeus ES because of those ships, while similar in size, they have more shields in total, with a total of 3 on the Freelancer and 4 on the Zeus ES. Now on whole HP, this is something that cannot be changed, and you can see out of these ships, the Cutty Red has the second most whole HP with 34,520, and a wide gap between it and the Crusader C1 Spirit having 67,600 HP. Crusader makes some good metal in the clouds apparently. Now on the cargo capacity chart, the Cutty Red is going to be at the very bottom, only holding 12 SU of cargo that can be snapped to the grid because most of the ship is filled with that medical bay. Our last chart, we're going to look at stock jump range. They're all pretty close, around 112 gigamamas, with the exception of the Zeus ES because it holds a lot more quantum fuel. Okay, so if you're new to Star Citizen and want to get some extra credits, feel free to use my referral code right here. And if you'd like to help the channel out even more, consider becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon member. That helps me out immensely. And if you have not seen already, we are going to be giving away a Crusader Intrepid. Check out the video link here with the details to be able to win that ship. Okay guys, as always, I appreciate you, and y'all have a good evening.